Hey everybody, my name is Mike Sweetman with O Suite Hospitality, and I make restaurants more profitable using automations and integrations. And today I want to show you something that is simple but really useful. It's how we are automatically pulling daily sales data out of an email and storing it in Google Sheets without anyone touching a thing. So this is actually a part of a larger system that we are building called Sweet Cost. The goal here is to track food costs automatically so restaurant owners know where they stand without living in the spreadsheets. But what I want to show you today is just one piece of that because it's a great example of something that you can do pretty easily on your own. And the idea is pretty simple. Your POS system probably sends you a daily sales report by email already. Most operators just open it, take a glance at it, and move on. But what if that report was automatically being saved somewhere useful every single day, and you can use it in other areas, and that's what we're doing here. So what I've got here up on the screen is a scenario built on make.com. It's like a visual automation builder. So if you've heard of Zapier, it's similar, but I find it more useful for what I'm doing. And this is our scenario, daily sales import. And there's 5 steps, as you can see, from left to right. So step number 1, we just have set up is a Gmail trigger. So all that does is goes into my Gmail account. I've got a connection here, and it will search for only unread messages. It'll mark the messages read after it's been fetched. And I'm searching by the sender email address. That's the address that sends from my point of sale system. And the subject, you can search by a number of different methods. I want emails only with attachments. This is a watch emails module, so the moment that email lands in my inbox, that triggers this flow, this scenario. So right now I have it set to on demand for demo purposes, but in real life it would trigger as soon as that lands in my inbox, so it's as up to date as possible. After that, we go into step number 2. The sales report comes as a PDF attachment, so this step pulls that PDF out of the email and makes it gets it ready to pass along. Make.com then handles the file conversion in the background, so you really don't have to do anything. So all I'm doing here is linking this message ID to the previous watch emails and making sure I get the right emails and returning that in here. From there, it's where the magic starts to happen. And it gets interesting. Instead of trying to write code to parse a PDF, which can be a nightmare and tends to break down anytime your POS changes format, we're just sending it straight to Claude and asking Claude to read it for us. We give it a simple prompt and, like here's a restaurant sales report, pull out the data, net sales, whatever category breakdowns you have, and give it back to me as structured data, and then it handles the rest. So I've already, as I've been just building this, definitely came across a couple of prompt revisions that I've had to improve on. So I'm still kind of working out some of those kinks, but I have no doubt that it'll get tightened up very quickly. So again, I have my own connection to Claude in here. You can use ChatGPT as modules for that. You can set the max number of tokens, see really how much you want to use up for this assignment, and it'll get a PDF attachment, Gmail attachment, and here's where you put in the prompt. So you want to make sure that you have a text prompt, and this is a restaurant daily sales report. Extract the following values and return them as a raw JSON object. And so it's got some field rules in here. We're just looking for food sales, so I will show you that in a little bit here, how I extracted that from my reports. So you can be very detailed in that, and this is actually where I found out one of my mistakes that I still have to update this prompt for. So once you got your prompt in there, save that. It goes on to a module that will parse the JSON, so the output from Claude here comes out as a JSON response, and it splits it out into the date, food sales, discounts, and then it goes into your parse JSON mode, which will then structure it into the proper JSON that allows it to go on to the next step, which is Google Sheets. And that's where finally everything lands. So I've connected it to a Google Sheet, and this automatically sends everything into the correct columns, into the right tab on the sheet, the right spreadsheet, the right sheet name, sends it right into that, and we've got that sheet set up to manage the sales from there. So that's the basic setup of the whole make.com scenario that we put together for this. Let me just go in here, and I'll show you in my sales report. So here's an example. I pulled an example sales report that had all the information on it that I needed to get the Claude prompt correct. So I actually went in, I highlighted the numbers that we needed needed Claude to pull from that, and I actually plugged this whole image into Claude and asked it to write me a prompt that would get the correct data. And it takes some revisions. I'm still revising it. Like I said, the prompt I have in there currently does not pull out these EI offsite sales, so that's not getting calculated, so I need to fix that. I'll go back in and rework that prompt. I'll show you the spreadsheet that we have built up here, and here's where I'm kind of taking notes on what went through. So when it first comes in, it's going to give you the date, food sales, discounts, net sales is just a calculation within the sheet. The source, I plan on having it set up so people can manually upload this information as well, and we can double check against it so that it won't be doubled up in the platform. So these are automatic, auto-sourced. And then if it's verified, true or false. So again, as I'm going through this, I am going back through every day, double checking and verifying, because as you see, I've got a few errors here. Fortunately, most of them are the same ones. So we have mostly missed or offsite sales, so I'm working on that. And then there's a couple of just little calculation errors that I have to look into to see what is causing those, see if there's anything that I can pinpoint there to get those accurate. But I feel after I've only done 1 month of 2026, really had 3 errors outside of this one that was my own error, the offsite sales that was not included in the original prompt. So really 10% error on the first 30 days, and without me revising the prompt whatsoever. I'm very confident we can get that dialed in. It's just going to take a little playing around with it. So let me show you real quick. I've got a new email in here, and I'm just going to go over here, and I'm going to run this once, and we're going to watch this just appear, boom, right in there. Right, so then I can go in and I can double check this against the report that I sent myself, and just make sure that things line up and match up, right? This one has, ironically, an EI offsite sale, so I know already that's not going to be accurate, but that's okay. I can fix that quickly, and I'll maybe try to do an update when I get that fixed. But you see how quick and slick that worked. The real reason I wanted to highlight this as a standalone thing is that maybe your POS doesn't do everything. Maybe it doesn't connect to your accounting software quite right. Maybe you want to track something that it doesn't support natively. And a lot of times if your POS sends an email or can export a file, we can intercept that and do something useful with it. So this is just one example of that. And so if you're not locked into whatever your POS does or doesn't do, we have ways to work around that. So yeah, that's it for today. Just a quick one, hopefully useful. If you want to see, I'm going to keep going on this, and keep building the system and putting out more videos, hopefully kind of tutorials, hopefully that help other people. If people want to build something like this on their own, it can give them ideas. If you have any ideas for me that you would maybe like to see me try to tackle, if you have an idea in your restaurant that you think, man, I wish I could do this, I don't know, reach out, drop a comment down below, and let me know. I'd love to dig in and play around with it. That's something I really enjoy doing. So, once this system keeps coming together, we're going to get into, doing some invoice parsing, food cost dashboards, and stuff like that. So the end goal for me is to have a kind of an app on your home screen on your phone for my managers to have constant access to, so they can just tap on it whenever they feel like, and it'll have up-to-date information. They'll be able to search through and check their food costs to the day, to the week, to the month, to the period, to the year, and see how they're doing, track their progress more in real time, so it's not, they're being proactive, not reactive. So again, I'm Mike Sweetman, and I help restaurants run smarter. So we'll see you on the next one. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. And if you're in hospitality space and want to talk about what this could look like for your operation, you can find us at O Suite Hospitality. So be well. Thanks.